They were the faces that started 1,000 teenage dreams, the voices that soundtracked our young adulthood, and the stars who looked destined to govern Hollywood forever. Behind dazzling magazine covers and screaming fans was a darker truth the industry didn't want you to know. This is the unsung narrative of the 1990s, youth-defining adolescent idols. Innocence was marketable, and fame cost more than expected. Teen stars were surgically created in the 1990s. As 1980s extravagance subsided, Hollywood execs discovered something revolutionary. Teens had spare income and spent it on stars who looked like them. Imagine big studio boardrooms in 1990. Veterans who had built their careers on action heroes and romance leads studied focus group data that changed everything. Now teens were more than a demographic. They were demographic. Cable TV, MTV, and adolescent publications produced a perfect storm of potential. This was more than entertainment. This was about generating a new celebrity, not seasoned actors who were young. Young people were being shaped into performers, singers, and cultural idols before they could vote. The machine that produced Jonathan Brandis, Devon Sawa, and Christina Ricci was already running. Few knew that they were witnessing the beginning of a phenomenon that would elevate and destroy a generation of performers. The 90s adolescent sensation was more than a performer. They were a beautifully made and promoted product with no expiration date. I mentioned, the industry had found its golden goose, but history showed that even golden geese ceased laying eggs. It laid the foundation for a decade of unprecedented teen sensation. Youthful faces would fill every screen and magazine cover. The gleaming exterior hid weak foundations that would set the stage for decades of successes and tragedies. Creating a 90s teen star was planned and brutal. Casting directors searched shopping malls, high school plays, and talent competitions like talent archaeologists for the right mix of relatability and aspiration to grab teens' interest. Jonathan Taylor. This approach produced Thomas like a masterpiece. JTT, with his guy-next-door charm and tousled hair, epitomized everything the adolescent star factory was meant to generate. His climb from voice acting in The Lion King to home improvement breakout star wasn't accidental. It was planned. The machine was terrifyingly efficient. Every teen publication featured Devon Sawa, a Canadian youngster who went from unknown to famous overnight. The Little Giants and Casper parts were more than movies. That was market research, gauging audience response to his young appeal. To keep the illusion alive, publicists, stylists, and image consultants worked 24/7. Every interview, public appearance, and love relationship was trained to fit the carefully manufactured image. Brands, not just young actors, involves licensing, merchandising, and bandwidth. Intoxicating success stories. Titanic's transformation of Leonardo DiCaprio from indie star to global phenomenon vindicated the industry's young investment. Teen stars can become A-list celebrities, as shown here. For every DiCaprio, dozens more would realize that the teen star machine was intended to eat and discard its products. While their male counterparts were marketed as heartthrobs, 1990s teen actresses were quietly revolutionizing how young women saw themselves and their potential. This went beyond gorgeous faces. Power, intelligence, and breaking out from prior generations of teen star tropes were key. Alicia Silverstone's clueless portrayal of Cher Horowitz shook culture. Vapid and intelligent, materialistic and caring, this individual had it all. A sophisticated portrayal that defied Hollywood's teenage girl stereotypes. Silverstone embodied this new teen celebrity archetype, aspirational and accessible. Christina Ricci went her own way, embracing the macabre with maturity beyond her years. Wednesday Addams was more than a character. She expressed her intent. Ricci showed that teen performers didn't have to be sweet or conventional to be popular. She showed versatility and courage in The Ice Storm and Buffalo 66, unlike most young actors. Claire Danes was possibly the most pure manifestation of this new young actress, able to balance mainstream appeal and critical praise. My So-Called Life set the standard for authentic teenage storytelling on television for decades. Not because the show was bad that it was canceled after one season. It may have been too authentic for an industry still trying to handle real teenage complexity. These actresses went beyond acting. They redefined young women in entertainment. They showed that intelligence and complexity might be profitable, setting the platform for the next generation of performers who defy age and gender. Teen Beat, Bop, and Tiger Beat's glossy pages depicted boundless happiness and possibilities. But underneath those glossy covers was a more complex and frequently heartbreaking reality. The 1990s adolescent magazine industry covered more than simply stars. An iron grip disguised as tenderness produced and ruled them. Few knew this better than Jonathan Brandis. With his visage on magazine covers month after month, the pressure to look perfect grew overwhelming. Every public appearance was examined. Every relationship examined. Every occupation is assessed for teen appeal. His famed magazines would ultimately limit his artistic potential. Total and relentless privacy invasion. Paparazzi waited outside schools, restaurants, and family homes to capture every moment for teen magazine readers' voracious thirst. Celebrities like Devon Sawa blurred the boundaries between public and private selves until it disappeared. The image became more important than the person behind it. Perhaps most insidiously, the publications set an unachievable norm of eternal youth. Coverage waned as these stars matured. Photo shoots less often. More critical headlines. The message was plain. Your value depends on your ability to always look 16 and project juvenile dreams. The psychological toll was huge. Many young performers came to believe that their value depended on public favor and media attention. The crash was inevitable and catastrophic when attention switched to younger faces. The system that elevated them left many of them trying to find their place in a changing business. Teen star to adult performer is always difficult, but the 1990s generation found it especially difficult. The industry was so good at making teen stars that it forgot how to help them grow. This transformation may be best shown by Leonardo DiCaprio's story. After Titanic made him the most famous teenager in the world, DiCaprio made risky but effective steps to save his career. He purposefully chose difficult adult parts in The Beach and Gangs of New York, even though they disappointed romantic leading guy fans. DiCaprio's popularity came from his willingness to disappoint youthful fans for artistic credibility. This tactic led to multiple commercial failures and poor reviews in the early 2000s, but it helped him become one of his generation's most coveted actors. For every DiCaprio, many others couldn't or wouldn't transition. Jonathan Taylor Thomas's decision to leave the spotlight was a fair response to young stardom's insurmountable pressures. Many industry observers saw his decision to emphasize education and personal development over professional momentum as career suicide, yet it may have been the most psychologically healthy. Maintaining juvenile appeal while pursuing adult parts was hardest for actors. This middle ground was quicksand, too mature for their original fans and too teen-oriented for adults. Many were in celebrity purgatory, too famous to disappear, yet not renowned enough to work. Many 90s young idols suffered the agony of reaching professional success before voting. The psychological consequence of having nowhere to go but down before you've created your adult identity is immeasurable. Macaulay Culkin became one of Hollywood's highest-paid performers before his 13th birthday, thanks to his Home Alone popularity. The drive to replicate that lightning-in-a-bottle achievement led to increasingly desperate ventures and a public collapse in late 90s and early 2000s tabloid headlines. Teenage years didn't help many of these performers succeed. They were at their professional best. This caused a distinct psychological trauma, lamenting a pre-adult career finish. The recurring query, "What have you done lately?" was unfair to folks who had accomplished more by 18 than most people do in a lifetime. The financial aspects of early achievement sometimes confounded the psychological ones. Many teen stars supported their families and management teams as well as their own lifestyles. Personal ambition wasn't the only reason to work. Financial responsibilities from their peak earning years were at stake. Perhaps most cruelly, early success sometimes prevented these performers from developing typical coping strategies and life skills. Due to your lack of privacy and normalcy, building relationships, managing money, and dealing with rejection become much harder when you've been famous since childhood. Male teen idols of the 1990s struggled to move from boy-next-door heartthrobs to serious adult artists due to social ideals of masculinity. Their youth appeal, innocence, vulnerability, approachability became liabilities as they aged. Jonathan Brandis embodied this struggle better than most performing artists of his generation. From teen idol to adult actor, he played darker and more difficult roles, but the industry and viewers had trouble accepting this. His performance in Outside Providence and Heart's War was impressive. Critics and audiences couldn't divorce the performer from his teen idol image, so they ignored them. Male young stars were forced to prove their manhood and artistic ability, creating an impossible double bind. If they played teenage fan favorites, they were labeled lightweights. Should they choose serious, I will. They were chastised for forsaking their followers in adult roles. Devon Sawa's career exemplifies this. He tried to play mature roles in horror and indie films after becoming famous with Casper and Now and Then, but the business couldn't figure out how to promote him as anything other than a young heartthrob. The dearth of effective male role models from past generations makes this shift harder. Male teen stars had few models to emulate, unlike female performers who could look to Jodie Foster for successful transitions. Many of these artists have only recently began to voice their isolation and perplexity due to this lack of supervision. The 1990s were not upfront about mental health, particularly in Hollywood and among young actors. Teen idols were expected to be appreciative and glad about their achievement. A mental health catastrophe was hidden by toxic positivism. The relentless scrutiny and pressure to present a perfect image devastated many of these young performers. Depression, anxiety, and eating problems were common but ignored. A few times, mental health issues were publicized, although the media rarely took them seriously. Maybe the worst illustration of how the industry's mental health negligence might kill was Jonathan Brandis' 2003 suicide. People who knew him recall the compassionate, clever young guy who battled to reconcile his public image and Liddy, his private read. His death shocked the 90s teen star world and pushed many to face their challenges for the first time. Among handlers, publicists, and yes men, youthful stars felt isolated. Many of these young performers struggled to build meaningful relationships or trust that people liked them for who they were. Teens often lacked school mates, family privacy, and age-appropriate hobbies. Many teen stars' coping strategies were harmful. Young performers abused drugs to escape the strain and attention. Hollywood parties offered easy access to drugs and drink, but no help or healthy alternatives. While many male teen stars struggled with the transition to adult professions, numerous 1990s female teen stars navigated the turbulent seas of public growing up with remarkable success. Their experiences illuminate what caused early burnout and career longevity. From young romantic comedy star to Oscar-winning actress and successful producer, Reese Witherspoon shows the importance of career planning and personal agency. After early success with Cruel Intentions, Witherspoon chose to collaborate with recognized directors and play tough roles that showed her range beyond teen flicks. Successful female transitions generally took charge of their careers rather than following managers and agencies. Sarah Michelle Gellar's decision to join Buffy the Vampire Slayer was first considered as a step backward from her film career, but it gave her a 7-season platform to showcase her acting skills while preserving creative freedom. Female performers with the most success have greater support structures and clearer public-private boundaries. They were more likely to have long-term relationships, study, and pursue non-entertainment activities, which helped them stay mentally healthy and successful. Perhaps most crucially, successful female stars of this era defied teen idol stereotypes. They matured and used their platforms to promote things they believed in, turning from juvenile fantasies into public people with their own voices and agendas. Teen stars' lives changed with the internet in the late 1990s and early 2000s, creating new opportunities and scrutiny and pressure that prior generations never faced. From traditional media to 24/7 online attention, celebrity culture changed drastically. Fans had limitless access to information about their favorite performers for the first time, creating a thirst for content that traditional media channels could not satisfy. Teen idols were scrutinized by fan networks that never slept, documenting every public appearance. Teen stars lost extraordinary narrative control due to media democratization via early websites and forums. Rumors can travel worldwide in hours, and no central authority fact-checked or moderated their content. This added psychological stress that many were unprepared for. However, the internet allowed some young stars to directly communicate with their fans and manage their messaging in ways never previously imaginable. Those that swiftly adapted to digital channels may extend their careers and stay relevant while traditional media moved on. Internet speed enhanced teen stardom's boom and bust cycle. Stars may become famous faster than before, but they could also be forgotten. The attention span of online audiences was considerably less than traditional media. Maintaining relevance needs constant content creation and engagement. Teen stars of the 1990s provided more than entertainment. They revealed the intricate interplay between youth, fame, and popular culture's relentless machinery. Their stories are both cautionary and inspiring, reminding us of the amazing heights young talent may reach and the heartbreaking costs of success. We look to 90s teen stars for guidance and caution as new generations of performers negotiate fame. They left more than movies, TV, and periodicals. It's the hard-won knowledge of what fame costs. The teen stardom debate continues. As long as there are talented young people with drive and viewers hungry for fresh faces and authentic tales, the industry will struggle to foster youthful talent without exploiting it. The victories, tribulations, and survival of 90s adolescent stars will continue to shape how we tackle these difficulties. Their stories remind us that every teen idol was a genuine person attempting to negotiate the difficult challenges of growing up. As the world watched, a few succeed. Some survived, others didn't. But they all helped us grasp fame, youth, and the cost of early dreams. You think, which 90s adolescent star's story speaks to you? Leave a comment and like and subscribe for more deep dives into Hollywood's most fascinating era's secret stories. The reality behind the glitz is usually more complicated and human than we thought.